You mean unmuting me?
D- yeah, unmuting you. Sorry. Listen, man, I'm
Okay,
tired.
cool,
Okay.
cool.
All right.
It's fine. No, it's understandable.
All right. Hello. Hello.
Totally.
Testing.
Yeah, unmuting you. Sorry. Listen,
Testing.
man, I'm
I'm
tired.
listening to the
Okay.
audio right now.
All right. It's fine. No,
Okay.
it's
I
perfect.
can hear you. I can hear you. You sound okay, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
All
You
right.
sound all right, I guess. I don't know. You're okay.
Just all right. Damn.
You could sound better. You could get like a better like microphone.
You're right.
But
I could. I could just get a new voice as well. I can go pick one up in
that's
Walmart
true.
after
That's true. Yeah.
after this because
hmm
you've kind of destroyed my self confidence, and I kind of
Oh,
I'm
it's
really
only
upset
the
now,
start.
honestly.
I'm gonna continue to destroy your, just everything, just everything. Yeah.
Really? Wow, man, you're such a good friend, dude.
Ah, yeah. Of course.
How did I get so lucky?
Trust me, dude. I'm the best you're ever gonna get. 100%. Yeah. So, get used to it now. Hello, everybody. Whoever's here, thank you for being here in this late night stream. I apologize if we sound low energy. We've experienced adulthood. It's not fun. Uh, yeah. So we're just we're just surviving. I think that's the best way to put it. To be completely honest with you, and it's late. That's the other thing. It's 10 p.m. at night. It's not. It might be not late for the youngins out there, but if you're old like us, um, this is like staying up all night for us. So it's crazy, to be honest. Oh yeah, I'm here with my good friend Pish. It's been a while. How's it going, Pish?
Hello.
Yeah.
It has been a while. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
I I kind of like rose from my grave like a vampire when Primal season 3 was announced
Mm-hmm.
because I had been in eternal slumber since the end of season 2.
Yeah. Hibernation.
But
Mm-hmm.
I am here again. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's
it's
hibernating. Fish do that.
right. Yeah, fish do that all the time. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't confirm that, so I'm just gonna take that as fact. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, yeah. We watched Primal season 3, guys. Okay, we're gonna
We
the
did.
final episode of the third season aired last week, or I guess for some people like me, earlier this week. So we have some things to say about it. All right, it's gonna get deep here, guys. Okay, we're gonna get into speculation territory. All right, we're gonna explore themes. It's gonna get emotional. Pish and I might cry. It's gonna get real. All right, no fake shit here today. All right, boys. That reminds me, I should probably
No,
change to the
no
default
funny
screen.
business.
Yeah, here we go. Sorry, should have changed that to the default screen. Yeah. Anyways, um, yeah. So, also, I apologize if I don't read chat because I am focused on. I'm trying to lock in on trying to talk about Primal and stay focused. Uh, I know that chat is like any Dino Diego stream. It's just like chat is on 80. It's just ADHD. It's just everybody's trying to talk about something different. They don't even really talk about the topic at hand. They just want to know my thoughts on like other dinosaur related shit. So um, also, I guess the first thing we have to address, fish, since we did
Yeah.
the first two icebergs. What do you think about doing a season 3 iceberg? You think there's even enough topics for that?
I think a season 3 iceberg is possible. Um, it would be more limited with
Yeah,
what we would have to work with.
that was
Uh,
kind of our issue for season 2, was there just wasn't enough interesting topics to talk
yeah.
about.
Keep
To
in mind, we did the iceberg for season 2 way after it was released, and even then, additional content, interviews, all that stuff,
That's true. Yeah.
behind the scenes shit, which is what you usually put on stuff like icebergs, right?
Yeah.
Um,
The
was
idea
still
is
severely limited.
Yeah, like the idea is you put in like the whole scope of a specific topic, in not just what's in universe, but like in and out of that universe, as long as it's relating to that topic in some way, shape, or form. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
but but yeah, I guess we'll get. I don't want to get I don't want to get too caught up in the intro because I know there's going to be people being like, "Just get to the review already. I want to know your thoughts." So we'll get to that here in a second. But before we do, I do just want to warn you guys. Um, just not trying to make a big deal out of it or anything. It's just personal life things or anything. But I am a dad now. Again, not trying to make a big deal out of that or anything. But uh
Said it twice.
yeah, I have to emphasize it. Um, Basically, what I'm trying to say is I'm on like dad mode right now. So like the moment I hear that baby crying, I'm out of here. Like not the stream will not end. I'm literally just out of my computer chair. So it's like the stream will still go, and Pish will have to take over from here and like try to keep you guys entertained. And he's really good at that. Like 100%. Mark my words. He's like the best entertainer that I know. Like he can keep you guys entertained. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna be on high alert
Boy, you
on
said
that.
it.
I'm gonna be on high alert on that. So I apologize if like I'm talking one second and I'm just gone the next. So fair warning. So yeah, welcome to the club of YouTuber parents. Exactly. That guy gets it. All right, so we'll go
Uh-huh.
ahead and just shift the screen a little bit. That way we can just kind of set the mood here. Um, but yeah, I guess without further ado, we can start off with like I guess initial impressions. Uh, Pish, you wanna give me your initial impressions on what you thought about Primal?
Oh, you want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah, no. Guests go first, dude. That's just how I do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy with that.
Uh, I I have a lot to say, so I'll sum it up just pretty plainly, I think,
Hmm.
because this is just first impressions, obviously. Um, I really enjoyed the season. I I really liked it. I thought it was a, and I remember DMing you about this too when the
Yeah.
season was currently airing, a few weeks back. But I actually greatly prefer it to the second season of Primal,
Hmm.
um, just solely based on mostly structure and storytelling, especially. I think like other stuff like animation and like characters and all that stuff was already really strong across all of the episodes of Primal in season 1 and 2 before it,
Hmm.
and that quality was completely consistent. So no faults there in my opinion. But yeah, in terms of actual structure and storytelling, I think season 3 um, really shined for me. I I was very happy
Right.
with the season.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I pretty much agree with you on all front. I think I just have a. I'm still on the. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. Okay, again, no fake shit here. All right. I'm still on the hate train for season two. Like I still think season two is the weakest season. I don't like how it ended.
Mm.
Just it. I think the biggest issue for season two for me was that like on paper the idea of taking the story of Primal and having this like like this whole like overarching storyline throughout the entire season. On paper that sounds promising. But when you take a format from like Primal season 1 and you completely shift it to something like Primal season 2, uh there's a lot of variables that you can make that you can just completely fuck up. And I think there were a lot of those fuck ups in season 2. I think at the time, because I feel like I did say a lot of nice things about season 2. It could have been just because I was hopeful. But then the final episode aired. Did not like it. Was not a fan. It geared itself up to be like the best episode of the season, and then it gave us that ending, and I just really hated it. I don't mind unhappy endings. I think at that point, even you and I were like, "Oh yeah, the show's gonna end with like at least one of the two main characters dying." So like
Yeah.
that's kind of a given. So again, I don't mind like, and I told Pish this in DMs too. Where I was like, I don't mind a bittersweet ending, even if season 3 ended bittersweet. I wouldn't have minded it. I just don't like what they did to Spear. Like, I don't like how they executed it. Um, so
Yeah.
when season 3 aired, I will say it was a huge breath of fresh air. It was. I didn't know how they were going to do it. I just assumed, oh, we'll probably just focus on Spear's daughter. But the way that Gendy decided to approach it was just like I love it. It just fits the tone of Primal so well because since season 1, Gendy didn't care about he didn't really care about accuracy. He didn't care about keeping things very logical. It was perfect the way they decided to just quite literally reincarnate, not reincarnate, but I guess resurrect Spear. So I thought it was great. I thought all of season 3 was, for the most part, pretty good. There's like little issues I have, but they're mainly nitpicks. For the most part, I really do like it. So that's kind of my initial impressions on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, no,
I think like, I mean, we'll get to talking about the ending, but um, yeah, like I think just overall for a conclusion, because we all know that season 2 was supposed to be at least a conclusion to Spear and Things and Mira's storyline, right?
mm-hmm.
Because Gendy, after season 2 initially ended, had said that he wasn't sure if he wanted to do a season 3. He was leaving it open, but he said that as kind of more akin to an anthology, that he would maybe want to focus on something completely different,
Right.
but still have Primal as the name. And we kind of saw that in season 2 as well with the middle episode, right?
Yeah.
The Primal Theory,
Mm-hmm.
right, where it was just a complete deviation. I will say I consider the Primal Theory. I've had a lot of time to think about it now, and I originally when it came out, I was kind of weirded out by it, but honestly, I've grown to appreciate it for what
Yeah.
it is.
I think it
I
does
do
prove
like how it's
that.
its own, yeah,
I think it definitely does prove that Gendy, if he wanted to, if he really wanted to push Primal in that direction, he could do it. Uh, of course, at the same time, he's listening to the fans, and he knows that that's not really what the fans want. So he was really trying
yeah,
to take our feedback into consideration, which
yeah,
that to an extent, I think that's admirable. I think that I do appreciate
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. I can see it too. Yeah, like I will say though, the whole listening to fans, like what Gendy did was great, and I'm happy in this case that he was inspired by because I watched I think I sent you the video or I don't think I sent it to you actually. I think I just asked if you had seen it, like the interview he did with IGN. Um, and where he basically talked about because they just asked him that question. They're like, "What influenced you to return to the
Oh
characters?"
yeah, yeah. I do remember
And
that.
he basically just blatantly said that he felt like he didn't specifically talk about the. I feel like he didn't specifically talk about the backlash people had with how abrupt the season 2 ending was. Um, but what he did talk about is the fact that he felt like um, he had just like we had just gotten to know these characters, like we had just gotten to know Spear and Fang
Right.
and Mira, and he felt like he said in that interview that he said he felt like he had made a mistake and he started panicking.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said the more he thought about it, the more it weighed on him, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds rough. Um, so the decision to return was, I guess, partly because of that, but also because of the fan reaction. I think when it's a combination of those two things, I think that was a strong thing to do, and it works. Because I think something I was going to point out is that fans are not always right, and I think a
Right.
lot
Yeah.
of famous franchises have proven that what the
That's
fans want doesn't necessarily always work and isn't necessarily going to automatically be the best thing ever.
that's why I was
Um,
kind of like
yeah,
I was a little bit worried about season 3 when it was first announced, just because it's like, okay, well, he's bringing it back clearly because there's like this big, huge wave of feedback telling him that he's got to like maybe right some of the
yeah,
wrongs he's done in season 2.
yeah,
This could be a case of just like fan service. And okay, I'll be completely honest. Season 3 does definitely have some elements of fan service in it. I think the biggest thing
it is true.
is the ending. Um,
Yeah.
If you saw the reaction after, by the way, I'm just gonna say now, spoilers. I'm just gonna spoil everything. If y'all don't want to hear that, just leave now. I guess if you haven't seen it, but um, like Spear has a happy ending. Totally fine, totally fine. I did not hate that ending at all. Uh, I feel like, again, like I said earlier, I would not have been unhappy with like a bittersweet ending. Uh, I don't think the entire, I don't think the bulk of the argument for season two was that the ending was unhappy or bittersweet. I think it was how they decided to execute Spear's ending and how it felt
Yeah.
disrespectful to him. Like you can kill Spear off, but there's a way to keep his dignity in killing him off. Like he could,
Mhm.
and it started out so well how they did it in season two. He was burning alive for Fang. You know, and then they decided to basically have just Mira just do what she did to him. That just felt wrong to me, and it still feels wrong.
Yeah.
Um, if they wanted to end
Bro was a
no,
burn
go, yeah.
victim lying there in pain,
Yeah,
and he can't even feel what's going on down there, right?
yeah,
And he's like on
exactly.
death's door. So the whole idea of that happening then, and not only does it feel incredibly rushed, it's also kind of like just like what the fuck
Hmm.
moment. Because
So,
we totally talked about this before, like so many times, you and me. But
right,
I
yeah,
will keep talking about it because it's just like the decision to do that then when that could have been a scene way much earlier, um, in the episode or maybe even in a
yeah.
previous episode.
They
Who knows?
definitely had moments
Uh,
where they could have more appropriately established that, but they decided
yeah,
to.
because Spear likes Mira, like that is established. Spear likes Mira,
Right.
and Mira does like Spear,
Hmm.
and but it's just the way. Why did it have to be that?
Right.
you
See, if they
know,
decided to
it's
kill
like
Spear off in season
God.
three, I feel like most people would be unhappy with that. I would not have been unhappy with that, like because obviously, if Spear's gonna die, it's gonna be like going out fighting. It's gonna be noble. That's just how his character is. So like, I wouldn't have been unhappy with that, but they decided to give him a happy ending, and that's totally fine. I think I still left season three feeling very satisfied, and I'm glad that Spear was had his family and everything. I think it's a great way to tie everything up, um, but I do sense a lot of like fan service with that, and somebody even pointed out um, that the picture that we even have as a backdrop, which I picked it because I thought it looked cool. So maybe I'm part of the problem here, where they were like the fan services that picture during the stream. That's true. I do think that that's a little bit fan servicey, a little bit too, but it's cool. Like this is so inoffensive as fan service that it's not bad at all. I think that's, in fact, I would argue that it's necessary fan service, because it's, look at it, it's beautiful, it's awesome, it's the kind of imagery you want to see in something like Primal. So that's my argument anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's
Hmm.
like, yeah, but I am happy with how I think the key difference now with the ending of season three compared to the ending of season two was better execution. So,
Hmm.
like, it felt a little bit more earned for it to end like that.
Right.
Even if the ending, I mean, I don't think either of us explicitly said it. Even if the ending of season three is still the final shot of season two, except we actually see Spear walk in frame. This
Right.
the cheeky
it
motherfuckers at the animation studio.
it did
Like
come off as a little bit, like, it did come off as a little funny. I'm not gonna lie.
it
I know
was
they
funny
try to
because I
make it.
literally deadass said out loud, like, he was there the whole time. Come on.
It's
Yeah.
weird because it's like you could call it a retcon, or you could just be like, oh, it's season two. They just like they cut the footage too soon. Like, I don't know. It's just a funny example of that. It's not, I don't think it's anything to really overthink or care too much about, but I think it is funny. I honestly
Yeah.
think they should have just had like just just different footage instead of just reusing
Yeah.
what they had in season two. I think they should have
Yeah.
maybe even picked a different time period, like instead of that same exact shot in
Yeah.
season 2.
It did leave me wanting like it wasn't like such a thing with season two where it was like I what do you mean it's that's the end? I want more. This is
Right.
bullshit. Like it didn't leave me feeling like that, but I would have definitely preferred like I would have liked to see in a different scene with Spears' daughter who is still
Exactly.
unnamed.
Right.
Like I would because she looks insanely fucking cool. So it's like I would have liked to see more of her in a different scene, different connotation. But yeah, I think it's still it was still like the difference now is that that scene didn't make me feeling empty with like, oh, it's is that really how we're ending the story? It made me feel like, oh, okay,
See,
Spear
I think
gets
that's
his happy ending with
yeah.
all of them, and
I think that's the
that's good
best part
enough.
about
That's good.
I think that's the
Yeah,
best part about the ending of season 3 is that uh it's the perfect kind of ending, where it's like if this is
yeah,
where they decided to close it off, you're satisfied. This is perfect. But they've also left it like open enough to where you could technically continue the story with a fourth season that is
yeah,
about Spear and his family, and maybe not even focused on Spear, maybe focus more on his daughter, and he's just kind of more of a side character from this point on. Um, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things you could play with. It could. You could have aliens abduct Spear, and he could fight like monsters on other planets. That could be a potential season 4, since that Gandhi had previously wanted to mess around with
yeah,
aliens in the primal style. That's a joke, obviously,
yeah.
but I think that I mean, unironically, I do think that'd be kind of badass.
It would honestly like honestly the more supernatural like things you throw at Spirit. I just want to see Spirit be Kratos, dude, which I know I've talked to you about before. I want to see Spirit like fight more eldritch entities
Oh,
and
that yeah, that would
still
be
still
cool.
a little bit am still a little bit like oh dang it the fact that Spirit never got to confront um like and this has nothing to do with season three because I was not expecting them to delve back into it and I'm actually kind of glad they didn't in a lot of ways. I would have loved to see Spear just in any connotation, any context go up against the Surtur or just the fire demon, the fire giant who gives the
Right.
Viking chieftain his power. Like
I think that
because
would
at
have
the end
been
of the day,
fun in
that
season
dude,
2, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, because they barely tapped into that like mythological supernatural aspect
Hmm.
of like what the fuck is it even? Because obviously like it is very Norse, which we talked about in the season two iceberg.
Right.
Like it's all heavily based on Norse mythology. The fact that the heavenly sort of beings are kind of seem to be guiding him off to presumably like Valhalla or something like that.
Right.
Like and then he gets dragged underneath by demons. And it's kind of a question of like, okay, is this supposed to be like Helheim from Norse mythology, or is this supposed to be like oh god, what's the fire realm called? The fire realm has its own name, but
Hmm.
um yeah, like, but it was definitely a super duper interesting aspect of the season that they barely touched upon because it was like,
Yeah, I think that's one of the critiques I have when it comes to, and it's not even just season 3. I would say that, and I would say that this critique only really applies to season 2 and season 3, because season
mm,
1, it was like the perfect amount of showing stuff on screen and then leaving other things mysterious. But in season 2 and 3, Gendy had a habit of like introducing certain aspects of like, and it wasn't things that you could like you could speculate on it, but it wasn't things that were like, I don't know how to like describe it. All the things that he decided to keep mysterious felt like it was too integral to the plot to keep completely behind a veil. Like there are
yeah,
certain, like,
hmm,
for example, right, it's easy, like the origins of the black substance in season 1, or uh the infected Parasaurolophus. We have no idea how that dinosaur became infected. From like, there's stuff like that in season 1 that's kept mysterious, but it fits perfectly because we're looking at it through the lens of a caveman and a dinosaur. They're not looking for the origins of
yeah,
things. They're not trying to. They're just
yeah,
running.
because
It's
running for their
situation.
lives, yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly,
situations that trigger their fight or flight. That's the dilemma there. But we're looking at things now from season 2 on through the lens of people who are more advanced, right? Like the
Hmm.
Viking from
Yeah.
Mira. So when you introduce elements like that and you decide to not continue to add to those elements and you decide to keep it a complete mystery the entire time and never get back to it,
Yeah.
uh, I'm not saying you have to unveil everything, but if it gets to the point where like the season ends and you're still completely confused about everything, uh, to the point where like even speculating doesn't feel like it just feels like too much work to do. I feel like there's something wrong there. Like
Yeah.
speculating. I just remember from the Iceberg season 2 speculating around the black. What was it? The was it the what was he called? The Black Scorpion or the Scorpion King? Some shit I forget.
The scorpion. Oh, yeah.
The
Like the.
Scorpion, something. Or I guess the see that's the thing. They all had weird like they all had different
Oh,
labels.
what you mean like the way she drew him in the sand, right?
Right.
Which
Yeah. Yeah.
she was referring to who would later be the Viking chieftain, but at that point we were like, what is it supposed to be?
Right.
Um, yeah.
And I guess
And
I
like
mean
I think the whole scorpion thing was kind of misleading because like nobody suspected the scorpions to be linked to Vikings because like
I
it's
thought
something
the
you would link
Vikings
with
were
a
gonna be led by that demon thing. Like I thought, that's what I thought. I didn't know that
yeah.
like, and when they alluded to it, like Spear never encountered it. Mira never encountered. Like, how does Mira know about it? Is it just? I guess it's just like a through word of mouth, like you said. Like it's a mythology. I
Mhm.
guess maybe like it's something like
Yeah.
of legend. Like the people. I guess that's how you can explain it. But it still feels weird. I don't know. That's kind of my issue is like there's all these like things that he decides to introduce but then doesn't utilize later in a way that could be meaningful or a way to add to the mystery or to the speculation, you know like with that demon thing. Again, I
Yeah.
don't even remember the name. I should have done research more.
I
I should have been better at my job.
I
I apologize.
if I remember, I'm remembering this because I've just quickly Googled it and I think I'm right. It's I think it's supposed to be at least in a broad connotation because a lot of people pointed out on our season two iceberg that it shares a lot of similarities with Surtur, which I don't think we even mentioned Surtur, who is like he is the fire giant in
Right.
Norse mythology. He's like the famous one that everyone knows. And it's similarity show and he could just be a combination of a bunch of different Norse mythological elements and be an original character, which I think he is in a lot of ways. But I think undisputably the biggest one he has a connection to is Vidar,
Right.
because and Vidar is a much more niche like Norse deity, but he does exist, and he is specifically the god of vengeance, which makes complete sense
Yeah,
for
definitely.
for the show, and also the fact that Vidar is like the word that the Viking chieftain keeps uttering. I think it's the only word that he utters.
Yeah,
With how
as
limited
far
the
as I
dialogue in
remember.
Primal
Yeah.
is. Yeah, and it makes sense because Vidar is also just the word for revenge, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so that is what
Chat,
he's
fact
referring
check that
to.
for us, please. Thank you. Anyways,
Yeah, unless I could be wrong about that, but like yeah, because a good fact check actually. Yes, please fact check
I'm
that.
kidding.
But
Anybody that fact checks anything, you're
yeah,
fucking banned. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, take
fucking
our
pull a queso.
you
You're banned.
everybody in the chat.
Banned.
You're gonna take our
Yeah.
words as fact, and if you guys disobey, you're banned. I swear to God. Okay,
Jesus Christ.
I'm
Um,
ruling with an iron fist. All right.
Damn,
Okay.
you starting to sound like the fire giant. Jesus, but
Sorry, I'm a little fired up. If you get it fired,
fucking kill myself, dude.
man, I'm so
Oh my
funny.
god.
I don't know how I do it.
Yeah, no, so hard I'm laughing.
Yeah, exactly. You're straining. I can hear it. Oh. So yeah, I guess bottom line is Primal season 3 fucking sucked. 0 out of 10. Stream over. I'm just kidding. Anyways, um,
What? No, just kidding, yeah.
just ruined your whole career or your whole day. Anyways, but yeah, regardless, I do still think season 3 cleaned up a lot of what season two. Like the other thing about season two, and it's so funny. We're supposed to be reviewing season three, but we're dogging on season two a lot. I apologize, but
I
the
know,
reason
I
I
know,
think
I
a lot.
know.
That's the hope. That's the thing. Is like season three does improve a lot on what season two got wrong. You know, it does.
Mhm.
So the comparisons I feel like to some degree are definitely necessary. Season two,
True. Yeah.
it felt like it definitely wanted to add a lot. Like it wanted to do a lot in the 10 episodes that it had. And I
Mhm.
think that's part of the reason why a lot of my complaints just now uh, were unfulfilled. Like, why I have those complaints, because a lot of what was introduced couldn't really be fulfilled because, you only have a limited runtime. You can only put so much in 10, 20-minute episodes, you know?
Yeah.
But I
Very
think
true.
season three does a better job at that. I think season three uh, paces its story and all of the things that it introduces very well. I think there wasn't really anything that I felt like anything mysterious introduced in season three, or any concept introduced in season three. I didn't leave the season feeling like unsatisfied or feeling like those questions were unanswered. And even if they were unanswered, like there's you know I still felt satisfying. It wasn't
Yeah.
like it wasn't like what season 2 left us with.
Yeah. No, I think that was probably the focus of the season in a lot of ways, was specifically trying to avoid that,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it works because obviously it's Gandhi and the rest of the writers doing it from a new point of view,
Right.
from what the feedback was and what they've learned, and again, going back to Gandhi thinking that he made a mistake with how he handled the ending of season two.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Does season
so
3
yeah, you can
feel
definitely
more
see that there.
satisfying? Yeah. Sorry, Pedro asked. He's like, does season 3 feel like it's just trying to right the wrongs of season 2, or is it kind of its own thing? A little bit of both. I mean, it's like what Pish said. It is
Yeah,
kind of made for that, but it is definitely more of its own thing, because while it does continue some aspects of the story in season 2, a lot of the story in season 2 is like, anything regarding the Vikings. They're absent. They don't. I mean, I think they pop up in memory and just in a dream
they
sequence
do pop up in memory. Yeah.
in just one part of the
Um,
episode. But aside from that, season 3 has its own like a bunch of stuff going on. Its own conflicts that need to be
yeah.
that are introduced in the beginning of the season and resolved by the end of it. Like it's got, honestly, with how like it had the same amount of episodes as any of the other season, but they complete so much in just those 10
Yeah.
episodes, and they do it
Yeah.
so well.
It definitely stood on 2 feet with because the same thing. I feel like it's a mix of both. I feel like the ending specifically was definitely kind of like righting the wrong.
Hmm.
Um, but I feel like a lot of the content in order to get to that felt deserved and necessary
Right.
with how they structured the story of this
That's
season.
you know
So
what that's
by the
true.
end of it, yeah, by the end of it, it didn't feel like, because at the end of the day, at the end of the ending with Spear getting to be happy and having a new family alongside Fang, who also now has a new family, and they both get to be happy, and Mira gets to be happy too. Like that is what these characters have been working towards since they were all originally introduced. So it does feel like a good send off, and it doesn't just feel like a correction, right? I will say the final shot is as corrective as you can get, since it's literally the same final shot as season
Right.
two. But in terms of the ending, just being the fact that the characters all get to be happy, um, like that doesn't feel like a correction. That actual concept does not feel like a correction. I feel
Right.
like this is what the characters have all been working to. Like Spear and Fang specifically were both characters who were essentially in mourning for the entirety of season one, having both lost um, everything,
Right.
being their families. And then season two was kind of this bumpy road of Fang slowly having a family again, and then Spear by the end point still feels alone. I mean, that's communicated by the fact that when they get to Mira's village, he does his cave art,
Hmm.
but he poses himself as away from the rest of them. because he still feels isolated and he still feels like he doesn't belong.
Right.
Um, which is a big thing for him. Like I think even in season 3, they do it in a different way. In this case, he's literally a fucking zombie. So of course there's going to be a theme of isolation and difference, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Actually,
but in season,
that's
yeah,
also what I liked about season 3 is that in doing that, it had this Frankenstein feel to it. It's almost the timing is almost
oh yeah,
perfect
absolutely, yeah,
considering
yeah.
Frankenstein very much had this like rise in popularity. It makes me wonder if like to some extent maybe that's because obviously uh, this more recent this more recent I guess resurgence of Frankenstein story uh, it happened like it happened in tandem with Gendy making this show, obviously. So it makes me
Hmm.
wonder if like there was some inspiration there, or I don't know, maybe just in general, maybe Gendy is just a big fan of Frankenstein. I know that he does the Hotel Transylvania movies. He's got to be some like that's got to be some level of
That is
education.
such a wild, like, that is always such a wild thing to let people know.
Yeah,
I've told that to a few people over the years, just a few, and
yeah.
I've just really consistently enjoyed their reactions when
It's
they're like,
hilarious. It's like yeah,
yeah, and I'm like,
he
hey,
developed that really gory dinosaur show. Yeah, he did. He also did Hotel Transylvania.
yeah, yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, but like,
Not only did he do Hotel Transylvania, he did all. How many? I think there's 4 of them. He did all 4 of the Hotel Transylvania movies.
yeah, he stayed on. Yeah, he stayed on for all of them.
He stayed on
I didn't.
for all of
Okay,
those
I didn't even know there was
fuckers.
four. I
Yeah.
thought there was just three. They made a
I
fourth one.
know. There's like, yeah, there's 4.
I did not know
It's
that.
crazy. Yeah, because of the first one, there's the second one, there's the third one where it's like a vacation
I've
movie,
only
and
ever
then
seen
there's
the
the
first
fourth
two.
one.
Literally, only ever
The
seen the
fourth
first
one
two.
is like a gimmick film where they swap around the characters where like I think it's all about making Dracula like they make him a human or something like there's a curse that makes him a human
Oh,
without his monster powers and then they do this fun swap where they like make all the human characters monsters and then they make all the monster characters humans.
interesting.
Um yeah. But it's still hilarious just telling people that. It's so
That
funny.
that is funny. I've the bottom line though, for me even mentioning that is that it's some indicator that he's a fan of like those old school like Universal monster like horror icons. Frankenstein being one of them.
Yeah.
So it really would not surprise me if like Frankenstein was somewhat of a basis for zombified Spear because there were a lot of Frankenstein moments. There was like there was
Yeah.
uh, him being chased out of Mira's village because they just saw him as this quite literally. I mean, he's this walking pile of flesh. He dead flesh. So
Very
like they're
very
scared of
evocative
him.
of Frankenstein. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I think Frankenstein was one of the first like movies to show a scene like that, to show a crowd of people with pitchforks and torches
hmm
chasing after a like somebody who is just different.
right.
Like a sympathetic monster character being chased, but like I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Frankenstein did establish that as the first instance of stereotypical mob with torches chasing after a monstrous being who you probably feel some sympathy for because they're misunderstood, right?
hmm
Um, so same thing with Primal. It's like yeah, that clear homage to Frankenstein
Yeah,
for sure, for sure.
it fits. I think it definitely fits in my opinion. Um, Also, there was another Frankenstein moment, but it actually kind of leads into something that I noticed uh, in the
Mm.
first episode when he's looking down, like he's looking at a reflection of himself in the water for the first time. That
Yeah,
itself is kind of a Frankenstein moment, but like what's cool about that scene is like right after he's attacked by a crocodile, and to me that's like almost reminiscent because that's like one of the first animals he encounters that like attacks him. It's reminiscent of
tries
like
to
the
kill him.
first
Yeah,
episode of the first episode of the first season where we're focused on Spear for the first time and he's hunting fish in the river, and then that prehistoric croc comes out of nowhere, and then as soon as it pops out of the water then you get like the title
yeah,
card.
yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, it
Yeah,
is. It is very reminiscent of
I'm
the very first
assuming.
episode, the very first scene, even.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
assuming that was intentional. I don't know. But I'm assuming it was. I'm assuming there was maybe a like because I mean the scenes are almost like not identical because Spear does get like chomped on. Actually, I think that maybe
Yeah,
that was supposed to be like poke fun at the first scene where it's like Spear was able to dodge it because he's alive, he's able to move so
yeah.
fast, but being dead, he gets caught very quickly. He doesn't
And
realize
and
that.
here he is just standing there going, "Duh."
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
his head's not in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Not all of it anyway. Some of it got like chopped off in the beginning there, but
literally, bro, literally felt his brain. Yeah, he just like
yeah,
all squishy up in
that
there,
made
like
me very uncomfortable seeing. That felt
yeah.
weird. That was just exposed brain and everything.
Personally, I loved the scene where the like skull ape man slashes the bit of his head off.
Yeah,
Because it was so funny. I did laugh out loud a little bit,
and then
which
he's just like
shows usually
so
fail to make me do.
confused. He's like so
Yeah, yeah,
confused.
because he's just standing there, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the exact moment where he has been broken out of the trance from the shaman because the
Right.
shaman got fucking eviscerated.
Hmm.
Um, and he's just finally come to, and so he's completely inanimate, and just the fact that the ape man slashes him once and just stares to see what his reaction is going to be, and when he doesn't get a reaction, they just awkwardly look at each other, and then he just puts the spear down and runs away.
I like those little awkward moments that he just
Like,
peppers throughout the season, like just throughout the show. Really, there's a lot of those moments throughout the show, and
yeah,
I live for those moments because they're funny. They do so much, even though there's like the scene itself, it doesn't last for very long. It's funny.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's just something that I noticed. I thought it was cool. I don't know if it was like completely intentional or not. I'm assuming it was, but yeah, I like those moments that Spear had as being zombified. I also like that, like, he it wasn't like, oh, let's resurrect Spear and then just give him a happy ending. Like throughout the season, he goes through hell trying to remember, and then
Yeah.
when he finds his family, he's not accepted at first. In fact, he's pretty much rejected by everybody except Mira. And then
Yeah.
that's when we go into
Mhm.
like the second arc of the story of the season, because there's like, well, there's a few of them. There's obviously Spear trying to find his family, and then there's Mira trying to
Mhm.
save her people from the hell pigs, which they're definitely based on the real prehistoric ones. What are they called? Entelodonts? I forget.
Entelodons, yeah.
Yeah. There's that little storyline. And I'm gonna be completely honest. I thought, for whatever reason, I read somewhere that this season was only supposed to have 8 episodes. So like when episode 8 aired and it ended, like, and obviously I did, when we got
Me too.
halfway.
Actually, me too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I also had this issue where I thought it ended at episode 8. At least like it was like a subconscious thing. I feel like I didn't see anything that said it would end on episode 8. And you know what I think it is? I'm so glad you brought this up. Um, it's the fact that so many shows for seasons now, like 8 episodes is now the norm of
Right.
so many
Yeah.
shows, which is insane to me. The fact that we're living in this world where I think it's this is what I'll call streaming service psychosis.
Hmm.
Um, is the fact that like episodes, like the new standard for a season of a show is 8 40-minute episodes, which for so many properties, I don't. This is like totally not a I'm sorry, fuck, controversial statement. It's not enough. It is not enough.
Right.
like,
I got like
like
halfway
it
through
really isn't
episode.
enough.
I got halfway through episode 8, and I was like, okay, there is so much that they need to finish. There's no way they're gonna end. Like, okay, when I got through the halfway point of episode 8, I was like, okay, there's gonna be 2 more episodes up. There's got to be up to episode 10, because like, there's no
Yeah,
way that they can end the story with in a neat little bow, but in the next 10 minutes, because there are 20-minute episodes, and
yeah.
when I got halfway, I'm like, there's no way they can end it well in 10 minutes. Like,
Hmm.
there's gotta be more time for developing certain things. So
Yeah, no, for sure, for
that's
sure.
kind of what like led me to think, okay, there's got to be like another couple of episodes at the very least, like the previous seasons. Um, so yeah, going back to what I was saying earlier, there was like the pig episode, and then there was of course when Spear got rejected, then he decided to go hang out with the volcano tribe, who like kind of hailed him as like their, I mean I guess king. I mean I just honored guest at the very least for winning all these
Yeah.
fights in their coliseum
Yeah,
of
kind
death.
of gladiator culture
Yeah,
style, except instead of being a gladiator for raw entertainment, the victor is just kind of crowned as this esteemed level of respect and honor, which is cool. It's a cool idea. Definitely fits the living at a literal active volcano theme. I thought that was pretty raw as hell. Yeah, but
no, yeah, definitely. I liked it. I like that they decided to bring the black substance back too. I thought that was pretty cool.
that
It
was probably the most like that I got the most excited when I saw as soon as that fucking little golem guy like dipped the spoon in the lava. I was like, wait a minute, that's not the. There's no way. I was literally saying, there's no way. And
right.
then he drinks it, and I was like, there's no way he brought it back. And it's pretty cool.
It basically it confirms a lot about like the I think in a way like I like it and I don't like it at the same time. You know, I'm kind of mixed on it. I'm very conflicted. On the one hand, I really like that they brought it back, but on the other, it's like it answers a lot of questions. Like all of the dinosaurs that you see, all of the monsters that you see in the first season, you can now explain because you know we learned that the black substance is a natural is a natural substance. It's something that
Mhm.
I don't know its properties, but it's somehow, you know, made naturally through the means of the lava of a volcano, an active volcano. Um,
Yeah.
so like, surely this is not the only deposit of it. Surely there's got to be other deposits of it around the world of primal. So like, if that's the case, then
Yeah.
in this particular and you know in this season this particular tribe they gatekeep it, but other parts of the world, I mean maybe they're not gatekept, maybe they're easier to obtain for the more wild animals like the dinosaurs. You know, maybe
Hmm.
there was a natural deposit and some Compsognathus drinks it and turns into the night feeder. Like I think that was a lot of what the fan theories were back in season one for that, you
Yeah,
know.
and we extensively talked about that as a main discussion point for the season one iceberg.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Which I remember because I remember doing my segment on it, which I really enjoyed. That was probably my favorite one that I talked about.
Yeah,
I loved talking about that fan theory,
yeah.
which somebody had lovely laid out on the official. What was it? I think they'd put it on the Primal wiki. They put it at like the bottom of the discussion page, and I remember seeing it and being like, "Wow, I've got to talk about this and credit them because holy shit, this is great. This is really cool." Yeah.
Yeah, you're such a nerd, dude. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I mean you are, but like, you know, I don't mean to be
Like
facetious about it.
literally everybody else in my life tells me this already, Diego. You don't have to add on to the dog
Well,
pile.
I'm gonna because like you need to be told. Like you need to put the you gotta put the mouse down, dude. You gotta get your head in the game. Like you know, life is gonna start biting you in the ass if you don't get ahead of it.
Mm.
You know. So
Yeah,
like,
true.
yeah, enough with this
He has
content
a
creation
point.
nonsense. Yeah, enough with the content creation nonsense. All right, get your shit together. All right, okay. I'm kidding. Don't listen to me. I'm the last person you need life advice from. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, I was taking a little sip of my drink. Okay,
No good. I'm
actually,
good.
funny thing. I didn't even mention this. That's crazy. I'm drinking um, a margarita. I am drinking. What is it? Uh, a strawberry margarita. It was made for me by my
Oh
father-in-law.
wow.
He was making drinks earlier, and he's like, "You want one?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll try it." I don't, you know, margaritas are not
Yeah.
my first choice of drink, but he offered. I didn't want to be rude, so I decided to take it, and it's really
Awesome.
good. Um, so
They
this
are really
is
good.
yeah, It's delicious. This is the closest you guys are getting to a drunk stream because we were, Danny and I were talking about it the other day about like my drunk streams, and I thought those were really fun streams. I really want to do another one. It's just really hard to do any kind of drinking these days, but one day I would love to do another drunk stream. It would be so much fun. But this is the closest one y'all are getting, so I just wanted to point that out that I am a little bit under the influence of alcohol. So
Just a bit, just a smidge.
if I start to slur my words a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I used to be better at holding my drink, but I haven't drank in a while, so I'm a little bit of a lightweight. I can kind of feel it. It's got me at a nice. I wouldn't even say buzzed. It feels nice. I feel calm. I feel relaxed. I'm sure if I had another one of these, I would be full on drunk because I think one more is all it would take. One more cup to send me over the edge. And yeah, if you if you want to see an example of me being like full on drunk, I would highly recommend watching some of the Bean Battles live streams I did with Gambit or with my girlfriend Danny. Because though that one I get trashed. Wait, did you ever watch that one, Fish?
I
I know.
don't think I did.
So
I
okay,
don't think I
I'm
did.
glad you
No.
didn't because I got to tell you how we decided to set the criteria for that. So the criteria was, and you know this because you know how much I fucking suck at Bean Battles. The criteria was
Yeah.
every time I think it was every time I die, I take a swig of beer. Wait, was it something like that? Or like every time I get a kill, I take a shot. It was something along the lines of that,
Mm,
right? Because
yeah.
like obviously you got to save the hard stuff for the things that rarely happen, which is me getting a kill. Um,
Yeah.
and then you got to save the lighter stuff for the things that happen very often, which is me getting killed. So obviously I wanted to get drunk. I didn't want to go to the fucking hospital. So that's what ended up happening. I got trashed. I got trashed by the end of that stream. It was hilarious. I was surprised I could even turn off the stream by the end of it. I thought I thought I was gonna struggle with that. It was
Jesus
hilarious.
Christ.
It was great. It's my favorite. It was probably one of my favorite streams I've ever done. I want to do something like that again. Um, but yeah, this is the closest y'all are getting to that. So I just thought I'd point that out because funny, I guess. Yeah. As you can see, I finished my drink. I'm good. Or as you can hear, I guess. Anyways,
Yeah.
what were we talking
They're
about?
the
Primal,
they're the
right?
iced.
Sorry.
Primal, yeah,
Yeah.
primal.
Yeah. Which episode had the best visuals? I would honestly probably
Ooh.
say episode like probably the last episode. Um, I really do like
Yeah.
the lava, just the whole volcano aesthetic, just like that whole.
Yeah.
I've always liked it. Plus, my favorite color is orange, so it's like that whole any
Yeah.
orange palette of anything. I greatly enjoy seeing on screen if it's like the main focus, the main theme. So, plus we got to have this visual that you're seeing right now on the background of everything of this stream, which is cool. I thought it was
Yeah.
really cool anyway. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I kicked my feet a little bit when it came out because I was like clear fan service, but I called that this would happen, and I'm glad it did.
Oh yeah, yeah. Fucking Pish when he was messaging me, he pretty much called the ending. Like when episode 9 aired, he's like, okay, I think this is gonna happen, and it's completely. He completely got it. Actually, that's something else I want to talk about. I really love the designs of the of Fang's family under the influence of the black substance. I thought they
Yeah,
looked
yeah,
really
no, that
cool.
was really cool. Yeah, really good. I agree.
I really like that Fang just looked like Godzilla. Basically, I thought that was perfect.
No, literally, I had the osteoderms, the spikes coming out of her
Yeah,
back. I was like, yeah, yeah, it does look really cool. Um, really cool for sure. And then I was so surprised that the ending actually went the way it was because I'm notoriously bad at predicting shit. So I was not expecting it to go that way. But yeah, it was cool to see for sure.
What'd you think of the fat kid
Shit.
from earlier in the season that gets taken by the pig, by the hell pigs?
Oh, I think it was like cool. I think it was definitely cool for once to not be. Same with the start of the season. Same with the shaman. I thought it was cool to focus on the kind of like a one-off character for at least for a little bit, because they do that kind of with the shaman at the very beginning of the season, but they also do that with the kid who I know has a name because it's in the credits and they gave him a name, and I cannot remember it for the life of me.
I don't remember
Um,
his name either. I
but
saw it in the
yeah,
credits too. Yeah. I thought, yeah, he was
yeah,
okay. I mean, I didn't really because somebody is asking like, does anybody remember that kid? I don't. Like, I mean, not. I mean, yeah, no, I don't. He's kind of forgettable, but it's like what Pish said. It's sometimes it's nice to just focus away from the main characters and focus on a different perspective. Uh,
yeah,
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. I think that actually benefits it to some extent because uh, the two main human characters are you have one that's zombified and is just not scared of anything, and Mira is pretty she'll go, despite being pregnant, she'll go head on to tackle anything. It's nice to see a different perspective of a kid, just being terrified of the world of Primal. They're constantly fighting it, so we're constantly going head on. But the show doesn't really stop. There's been a couple of moments like the Plague of Madness episode where they truly like take a moment to stop and look at the genuine terror of the world of Primal.
yeah.
Which was cool.
hmm
It was a nice change of tone, and it was a good way to change the tone, in my opinion. Yeah, but
While we're like talking about the final bit of the episode, like of last episode, the black substance with all being used to it, because I messaged you about this when we had our little season end discussion,
mhm.
and I thought it was an incredibly strong close to the like closing like act, like closing conflict, right?
Right,
Because after that, it's home free. We finally get to see them all at peace and happy with each other.
right,
Um, so I remember messaging you about how at least this was my take on Gendy choosing it to be the finale of presumably from what we know, the end of Primal as
mhm.
we know it. Um, but like it made me think back to the first season where we see the spear get mutated under the black goo, and he like it was probably the most famous scene when the first season of Primal was all we had at that point.
Right,
Only the original 5 episodes were all we had. It was probably the most like known about and talked about scene was the fact where Spear drinks the Hulk juice and goes completely apeshit and massacres all of the monkey guys.
right.
Because it's still one of the best scenes in the
It's
entire
great.
series.
I love it. Yeah,
It's great.
absolutely.
It really just encapsulates like Primal as a whole. Word meaning and all. Just like a character going completely berserk, um, under the influence of a literal mystical kind of supernatural element that is basically bringing out the animal in them. Like it's making them act like with their primal instincts of just complete rage and heck, even in the episode titled "Rage of the Apeman," so we get to see Spears' complete rage at the thought of losing Fang, right? Like the only thing
Right.
he has after his
Mhm.
first family was taken from him. So he goes completely crazy. Um, but like, and I remember messaging about it, like when he awakens the morning after, where he kind of emerges from the corpse piles, like he looks completely ashamed of like looking at all of like the death around him, and
Mhm.
obviously like he goes over to Fang and kind of it's left up and open to interpretation as it ends there if Fang is alive or dead. But even as he emerges from the corpses before that happens, he looks kind of like he doesn't look proud of it. He's kind of got the same expression that he had on when he killed the Alpha Rex in the first episode, where he's put an end to the conflict, but he still feels kind of
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
empty. Um, and here we come all the way to the end of season 3, where instead of Spear being under the influence of the black substance, which basically sends um the drinker into a complete primal rage, where they cannot control themselves and they just go completely apeshit. Now we have Spear, uh, watching everyone he loves and cares about under the influence of that liquid as they all try to tear each other's shreds, and he's frantically trying to stop them from doing so, which I think is an excellent twist of that, of what we see. And it, like, because it made me think that, like, the like, and I remember this is what my whole point was when I messaged you, is like, it feels like the black substance in a way not only is supposed to represent like the primal will to survive and the animalistic instinct and rage behind it, but like it also might be like a metaphor for all that like a bottled up anger and pain that all of these characters have had to endure over the seasons, because all of our characters have very troubled pasts and conflicts that they still are trying to work towards healing from, right?
Right.
And like it feels like the black substance in this moment, same with how it did with Spear in its first season, brings out that anger and pain, and it makes it all spiral, and they all just lose control and just try to lash out and kill each other. Um, and I think it was really beautiful having Spear for once, instead of being the guy who's famously, pushing through and killing everything he comes up against. Be the one to snap them all out of it,
Yeah, I was gonna
to
say.
kind of bring them back, to kind of drag them out of the
Yeah,
despair pit, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I was gonna say. Is I really like that take on it because, and I think what corroborates it is like what you were about to say. Like Spear
Mhm.
gets him out of it. Like, and it depends on what it is. Like for Mira, it was her baby crying. Like they're
Yeah,
able, despite it turning them into these monsters, they're able to snap out of it somewhat quickly if you show them like some level of I guess uh I mean I guess it could be anything like some level of humanity, like of what keeps them from devolving into that level of uh, of anger, of their primal instincts, of like for Mira it was the cries of her baby. For Fang it was Spear yelling, like he was about to fall into the lava, and as he was screaming, that kind of snapped her out of it, and that's
yeah,
so it's like it's stuff like that. I think that helps corroborate your overall idea of the black substance and what it causes these different characters and things to be. So I really do like it. I think, and in some way, I think the black substance is supposed to be a metaphorical tool for the story, um, because it's shown time and time again, like that it can work as that.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also in that way, same way. It's also kind of ironic that the black substance is what ends up healing Spear,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it's what makes him gain his hairline again. Every man's dream.
Right.
Um, every middle-aged something man's dream, pretty much. I'm pretty sure Spears middle-aged. He's got a very like defined face,
Right.
so he's definitely not super young. Um, but yeah, like coming back from being zombified, and then eventually by the end of the final scene, we see that he's completely come to and he looks completely normal again. So, and his hand has completely gone back to normal as well.
Right.
So very very nice to see that the mystical healing goo, that sends you into complete fury, but also can heal presumably uncurable wounds is really good.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm really happy that the black substance returned, not only as the method that Spirit uses to regain his human form, but like also kind of used in what it's just my own take of like what it could possibly mean as like the final conflict between all of the characters, because like obviously Spirit has been through so much, but it's important to acknowledge that Fang, her kids, and Mira have also been through so much, and I feel like a lot of like Mira's conflict in this season was having to still caring about Spear, but just dealing with the fact that he wasn't himself anymore.
Right.
Um, and she was trying to show, she has her child, and she tries to tell him before she has the baby that she's pregnant and that it's his kid, but she just can't get through to him because his memory just hasn't come back fully. Um, and
Actually,
it's
in a
that
way,
was
a
yeah.
good thing because uh, in Spear being rejected and feeling like he doesn't belong with Mira and the rest of his
Hmm.
family, that's what caused him to kind of run away from them, and then eventually make his way to the volcano tribe, which is how he was able
Yeah,
to even regenerate in the first place. So there's like that,
yeah.
you know, uh, that lead up. So no, I totally get what you mean by that. It makes sense.
Yeah, I thought the segues to the themes they used in a lot of the episodes, like the how we kind of get there, like same, but like what you mentioned with Spear, kind of leaving Mira and the village because he feels complete. Like it goes back to season two and season one, even when there were already themes of with Spear of isolation, where not just the ending where he draws himself famously on the cave wall, kind of away from the rest of them because he still feels alone,
Right.
and that he doesn't belong in a lot of ways. But it goes back earlier, like when he. I mean, there was technically a whole episode about it, the episode where we get introduced to Red and the Celtic people,
Mm-hmm.
who are Spear's like first contact when he arrives on the new continent after traveling. We kind of see that there's still themes of Spear is an outsider, and we see that in how Fang and Red attack. Red gets killed. That it's really sad, and Fang kind of walks away uh, in despair, and Spear chooses to go with her because he feels like he doesn't belong
Right.
with these people. Right? He
Mm-hmm.
feels completely alienated from them, and just feels too different. So he chooses to go with her instead of staying with them, despite the fact that he has been shown hospitality by, I believe he's supposed to be the chieftain of that Celtic village. Like he shows, like he's the one who stops the mob of people chasing Spear
Right. Yeah.
when he wakes up confused and kind of frightened, and he gives him some food, and he kind of gets through to him, and they start to chill. And Spirit, feels kind of good in that moment, but then he also, realizes that he's not like these people, um, and so that really influences his choice to go with Fang.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like so the point being, because I'm rambling too much, the like that isolation factor for Spear had always been a theme with his character, and so it makes complete sense, and it was a really good direction for them to go in, where he arrives at this new mysterious kind of really dark fantasy oriented civilization that lives at this volcano, who have these gladiatorial battles for honor and glory, and then he feels kind of at home there because his whole life has been fighting for his life, and being up against impossible odds, and the whole shebang. So
Yeah.
he it makes complete sense why he would feel at home there for a while at least, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So one thing I will say about the black substance, because Trike is in chat and he said something about it, that kind of reminded me of something that I like. It's not, it's more of an observation less than like a critique, because I don't, at the end of the day, I don't care too much about it, but I think it's pretty obvious that for the black substance, the regenerative properties were more of a like, I don't know if last minute is the right way to say it, but for the lack of a better way to say it, it was more of a last minute thing to add, so that that way they can have an excuse for Spirit to even regenerate in the first place. Again,
Yeah.
just an observation.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say that's like that breaks the show for me. That's like at all. I would not say that at all. Um, because I mean, the only thing we know about the black substance is that it's basically a natural steroid for for anything that drinks it. Um,
Yeah.
and it puts people into this brutal rage. So I think the healing properties were just something that they were like, oh well, if we bring back the black substance, we could just, you know, uh, we could just say that, or not say, but we could at least show that it has those properties as well if you drink it more and more and more. Um, See, my initial theory at the beginning, as I was watching the show, was that maybe they were going to somehow incorporate the witch coven from season one, or at the very least, the magic of the witch coven, because their magic deals with a lot of elements of rebirth and
Hmm.
of and at the same time, I mean, maybe they had, if they can do rebirth, maybe their magic somehow also deals with resurrection. Maybe in some way they could, that magic could have given Spear new life. Maybe there's a different tribe that harnessed that magic and could have used it for Spear. That was my theory. But then, the black substance was introduced, and from there, after it was introduced, I think it was pretty self-explanatory where the story was gonna go from there in terms of, like, Spear coming back to us in his usual form, um, which isn't bad. Again, I don't. I really want to stress that that's not a critique on my part. It's just like I find it interesting more than anything. It again does not ruin the show for me. Still love season 3, and I don't hate that that's the direction they decided to take it in. Would it have been better if it followed my theory? I don't know. It probably would have. It probably would have just felt as last minute. So maybe no. The bottom line, I guess. But
Yeah,
um,
it's.
you know, that
I was
that's
gonna
my
say. I
theory.
was gonna say. I do agree with the point of like. It definitely feels like they needed a way for Spirit to kind of regenerate somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think going in the witch direction would have probably been better because, like you said, like the whole rebirth aspect and the giving new life and the traditional connection to like um Asia. I think they primarily drew from like Asiatic shamanism
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of ways. I remember talking about that on one of the icebergs, but
Right.
yeah, like there's a lot of similarities there and like themes of new life and rebirth, and I think that could have worked for sure because they already. I don't think the shaman is specifically linked to the witches, but the green magic is definitely like just in terms of it being in this style of Primal and it being an animated show, the visual connection between the witch's green magic and the shaman's green magic, like that's an instant visual
Yeah.
connection,
What was
even
it?
if story wise there is no connection between them.
Right. I remember bringing that
So
up to
it's
you as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
yeah,
That's something that I
yeah.
thought was interesting as well. Actually, I have a new
Speaking of which,
theory.
oh yeah,
Sorry,
what's
go
up? What's
ahead.
up?
Go ahead. You can go first. I just have a new theory based
Okay.
on what people are
Yeah,
talking about.
I just had a tiny point, which was like visually, because I know you talked about loving the visuals of the final episode, which like absolutely agree. I also thought the first episode with the shaman had incredibly amazing visuals, with everything being on. First of all, like everything being in flames around him was really strong. Really encapsulated the kind of rage because rage and anger that led him to kind of do what he does. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also just oh god off topic, but I think it's also while I'm talking about the shaman, it's really intriguing and I thought it was strong how we start with a character who is going to be the catalyst that leads us to being fixated on Spear again,
Mm-hmm.
to being the catalyst of events hereafter. But I thought it was really interesting, and I was like, wow, that's cool. When he is being motivated to do this out of vengeance, the same thing
Right.
that Spear
That's true.
Spear is motivated by. It's the same thing that Spear is originally motivated by in the very first season's first episode. Same thing the Viking chieftain is motivated by later in season 2. Like vengeance is a complete like cycle of Primal, which I think is really cool. I'm glad that they kind of touched upon that because I literally said when I
I think
kind of put two and two together, I was
I
like, that's
think it
pretty
makes
cool.
sense
Yeah.
because something like wanting revenge, like if somebody does you wrong like that, they murder your family, they hurt the people that you love, it does evoke this very primal urge that you want to hurt them back so badly, so
Yeah.
it's like I think it makes so much sense. Yeah. But I totally get what you mean. Sorry, I want to say my theory because I know I'm gonna forget it. So I'm not trying to derail. Like I'm not trying to
Go for it. Go for it.
But my new theory is that the black substance doesn't actually have any regenerative properties. My new theory is that the black substance, that the regenerative properties that Spear has is a byproduct of the substance mixing with whatever resurrection magic is coursing through his bloods caused by the shaman, and those two are just mixing in a way that helps him regenerate, and that's why he's regenerating. That's my new theory anyways. It is a huge stretch, and I'm doing so much of the heavy lifting in terms of like the explanations. So it is most likely not true. It's but that's my what do people that's my headcanon. Yeah, that's what I'll say. Fuck it. Whatever.
Yeah. No, I like it. I honestly think that is something that, it's never going to be brought up in the
Yeah.
show, right? But I think it's something that you can headcanon for sure, because like we see that, like, he's not just a corpse, right? Because I remember seeing a comment from somebody talking about, like, how did Spears' exposed bone arm, how didn't it break? Because if it was just a normal corpse, if that tried to punch somebody with no muscles or
True.
tendons or anything,
Yeah.
with just a skeletal hand,
Wouldn't be
the
able to
the
move.
hand is gonna shatter on impact, right?
Right.
And I think Gendy did a good job, and that, not just Gendy, because it's a whole team and animation studio as well involved with all of this, right? They did a good job showing that, just in visuals, no dialogue show, right? That Spear is clearly, like, despite the fact that his mind control from the shaman is broken, and that, he's on his own now, kind of discovering who he is. Like, the magic is still there, reanimating him. So, and we also see that he's clearly gotten, like, a resilience and strength boost as well. Fucking hell, he's able to flip over a giant person in, like, in episode 9.
Yeah.
He literally flips over the giant humanoid guy whose hair he takes for the toy, which he definitely wouldn't have been able to do in previous seasons when he was just a normal guy. So we clearly see that his strength, and the reason, again, why his bone hand isn't breaking when he's punching people, like, he's still under the influence of magic,
That's
um,
yeah. That's true.
of being reanimated. Yeah,
That's
because
a
he
fair
tanks so
explanation.
much damage.
Hmm.
Yeah, like, the amount of damage he takes, even when he's not completely zombified anymore. I'm also thinking about when he was grasping on the giant's foot, and he just kept getting slammed into the ground over and over and over again. It's like, yeah, he was fine. He would not have been fine if he was himself from season 1 or 2, if that was the case. But
Hmm.
yeah, he just tanked it all like a fucking champ. So,
Right. Yeah.
clearly he is being aided by the supernatural influence of the reanimation shaman magic, for sure.
Hmm.
So I do not think it would be unplausible that the regeneration is also a factor of it, for sure.
Hmm. Right. Well, I'm glad that because I feel like you definitely added a lot of more rationality to that. So I'm glad you did because it makes me feel a little bit less crazy for having that initial theory. So
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
yeah,
So, somebody did ask, and I'm bringing this up because I think this would be funny. How long would you last if you lived in Primal? I don't know.
dude, I'm killing myself. I'm killing myself immediately. Like, I'm not even like, it's the same thing of, like, zombie apocalypse. It's right. It's like, what would you do? What's the first thing you're doing? Dude, I'm I'm blowing my shit smooth off. Like, I'm not. Because I'm not making it. I can't make it. I'm up against impossible odds, and I'm not Spear. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm
You know
not
what?
Spear or Fang,
That's
so it's like, I'm doomed.
I don't think that's I I think you broke the game doing that one, but that's okay. Me, I give myself a cool 2 minutes, and I don't. The
Yeah,
worst part is I don't even think I would. I don't think I'd die by anything like attacking me. I think I would just like trip over a branch and fall down a cliff or something. Like it would be so easy for my dumb clumsy ass to just fall and just die right away. A million things happen. A branch could break off a tree that I'm next to, and it would fucking kill me. And that's the extent of the brutality that's all that's needed to take me out of the world of Primal. You don't even need a dinosaur,
yeah,
right? That's how little I can handle a world like Primal. So I give myself 2 minutes. That's my final. Uh, I don't think it's unreasonable to have that number, but yeah.
yeah. Checks out.
Do you think
So,
if
for
they would
sure.
continue the Primal, if do you think if they were to continue the Primal, do you think they should have it be an anthology series, or that was originally discussed in an interview, uh, say that, oh my god, I cannot fucking read today. Sorry. I'm just gonna read it as is, okay? Do you think if they
Yeah,
would
go for
continue
it.
the Primal, do you think they should have it be an anthology series that original discussed in an interview say that they would continue it. Okay, I thought I was going crazy. Um, I basically what they're asking is, if they were to continue Primal, do you think that they should continue it with that idea that Gendy had about making it more into an anthology series where every season is a different story? Or personally, for me, I think they could totally do that idea. I think they should just make it its own separate thing. Like, don't even add the Primal name to it. I don't think it's necessary.
I agree because honestly, if they even think about doing something new, with season 4 or whatever, I know, like it's difficult because I know Gendy's got a bunch of other projects that he would probably want to focus on as well, especially after doing another kind of conclusion, leave off with season 3, right? Um, but I would still be down to see Spears' daughter in the spotlight since they have the emphasis on it at the very end of both of those seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd like to see, like it would be cool to get a little bit of focus on there. I still love the fact that she's voiced by, just for that one scene with her one yell of dialogue, the fact that it's his daughter, Laura Tartakovsky. Like I think that's great. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if they even end up doing a season 4, and if that's it's saying a lot, because if they even end up doing season 4 on top of the fact that they end up going in that direction with it focusing on her, um, I don't think it's a bit of a stretch to assume that Laura Tartakovsky will continue to voice her. But I just thought it would be cool to mention that. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the world of Primal is very malleable. Like there's always room to add stuff, and like there's so much more cool stuff they could explore. So I don't think, like same with what you said, the anthology idea, like it works, but I don't necessarily think you need to attach Primal to that as the property, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, like it can
I
be its own
think
thing.
if Tartakovsky wants to do an anthology, I think that's totally fine. I think his chance to do it with Primal is kind of past at this point, because it would be kind of awkward to continue the series with the Primal name as an anthology, and the next season is just a completely different story from the first 3 seasons. I don't think it would. I think it would just come off awkward and weird. So I think it would just be easier to make it its own separate project. Um, I mean, I don't know. I like the idea that he had with aliens. I think if he did an alien story, I think that would be interesting enough. Because I love alien stuff. I like that kind of sci-fi. If he
Yeah.
did like an alien
Mhm.
horror show, I would totally be down to watch something like that. Especially
Oh,
from
he'd be great for that.
Tartakovsky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for real. I will say I've had some experiences with anthologies, which, because anthologies are cool, are cool. Like I think about stuff like, I don't know, like why do you think Black Mirror is one of the most watched things on Netflix? Is because everyone thinks it's cool. Like Black Mirror, Love, Death and the Robots, all that stuff is great. But I will say there have been a couple times with things that are more akin to something like Primal, where they are anthology series that have like seasonal focuses, so each season is different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sort of like one I'm immediately thinking of right now is True Detective. I don't know if I don't think anybody would really know or care about that show, but um, in a case like that with True Detective, where it's would probably be something similar to what Gendy is describing with his anthology series, where it's like every season is different, has a
Mm-hmm.
different focus, has different characters, has different story setting, even who knows. Um, I have seen shows like True Detective that do that, and instantly there's clearly a noticeable difference in quality between the seasons, which uh, can be kind of detrimental. Like, for example, for this True Detective show I keep talking about, True Detective Season 1 is really fucking good. Like, it's honestly some of the best TV I've ever seen in my life. It is so engaging. And then Season 2 and 3, and later they did a Season 4, were all dog shit in comparison. So just very honestly, very similar feeling to Primal, where it's like season 1 was so juicy good, and then season 2 like was still good, but then just did not stick the landing at all, which kind of like, I wouldn't say ruined it for me, but it definitely left me unhappy in a lot of ways. Um, like I don't know, like it kind of gives me that feeling where if it were to be an anthology, there's still the potential that people would clock out of a season because they're like, oh, I just don't like the direction this one's going in, right? So it's like, yeah, that's the hard part about anthologies,
Right.
for sure.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think what they can do instead is they could do. I think it's still too late to do it now, but if he really wanted to do an anthology, he could have just done an anthology within the world of Primal, and like he could have kept it in the same setting of Primal, but instead of
Hmm.
focusing like a season was focused on a caveman and a dinosaur, maybe the next season can be focused on a different a different like human character in a different
Yeah.
scenario on a different part of the world of Primal. Like I think
Yeah.
they could have done something like that where it's all in the same universe, but every season is a different story focusing on a different aspect of the Primal's overall theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could have done something like that. But to try to answer your question, yes, that can happen. He was asking about like, can hair color change later in life, aside from the graying of age? Yes, actually, in babies, they could be born with a specific hair color that might change a little bit later. I don't know if it's as like, I don't know if it's like if it's as if the contrast is something like from blonde to black. I don't think that like that, but like just like from my personal experience, like Danny, she said that she was born with red hair, but now she has black hair. And when our baby was born, he had dark hair that was slowly turning a little bit red, and it eventually turned back to black hair, the black hair that we have.
Yeah.
So the hair
Yeah. No, it's
changes,
definitely a thing for
yeah,
sure.
the hair
Yeah.
changes are definitely like a normal thing. Uh, but I think the changes in the contrast are a little bit more subtle. So
Yeah.
it could be it could be a case of like they're exaggerating it. So that's probably what ended
Yeah.
up happening.
Probably. I think what was I gonna say? Fuck the it's definitely a thing because I've known people who I've known for years whose hair color has clearly changed. I knew a guy who had super duper blonde Germanic hair when we were like in elementary school, and I still know that guy today, and he's kind of just brunette now, like it's just kind of faded over time, and I think that's actually the most common kind of thing. I actually think there's lots of cases, and I've known a couple people who have had that where they're blonde when they're really young, and then it kind of turns to a more dirty blonde or even kind of a more brunette looking hair as
Mm-hmm.
they get older. Like the color kind of fades it from it a bit. Um, which is interesting for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't I think it's probably just a genetic thing because I've been brunette my entire life and like it really hasn't changed at all. So
I
yeah,
can
because it's
confirm.
just a thing for some people, thing for not.
I've seen this dude in person. I can confirm. Um,
Yeah,
I know, like it's weird. Like a fish that's a brunette. It's weird. I know, I get it, but like it's a real thing. It can happen. Like he was just in his fishbowl, looking in his mirror, just doing his hair with a comb. It was weird. I mean, but I didn't say anything. Obviously, I didn't want to be rude or anything. But um, uh, what was I gonna say? Somebody said something. Oh, somebody mentioned that like if they trusted him, Gendy could do something for like relating to the MonsterVerse. If Gendy made a MonsterVerse show, I would definitely watch it. Like if they decided to have Gendy do like the Skull Island show, the animated one that came out like a few years ago, uh, or a
oh
couple
yeah,
years
yeah,
ago, like I would have maybe taken some time to at least watch a couple of episodes to see
yeah.
how that would have turned out, because that I feel like that would have been pretty cool.
I agree. Absolutely agree. I think it would have been like I don't know. I feel like he's just good at nerd shit. Yeah, dude, honestly,
Yeah.
like he really just has got a very diverse library of stuff that he likes. Like horror stuff, monsters. Um, in Primal, you can add prehistoric shit to his library.
Mm-hmm.
Because comedic shit,
he
serious
did Star
shit. Like
Wars, so
he's
like
yeah,
he knows like the nerdy stuff. Like he did that Star Wars Clone Wars show. He did a
yeah,
lot of like those Saturday morning cartoons like Dexter's Laboratory and stuff like that. So like
yeah,
yeah, he definitely has an idea like of the nerd culture. No. We don't talk about that fucking
yeah.
abomination. I never even watched it. There was nothing about that Kong show that looked interesting to me.
That is also why I didn't watch it. I took like one look at it and I was like, yeah, I'm good.
Enough of Gendy's Primal. Give us Gendy's Primal. That would be cool. You know what?
Primeval.
They were gonna do a
Yeah,
Primeval animated show that never came to fruition. Bring that show back and have Gendy animated. Have him be the
God, please.
director for that show. That would be
I
fucking
could use
sick.
some. I could use some early 2000s edge. Like just bring back because that's what Primeval was to me. Just bring back Primeval, bro. Like it was
It's
so
honestly the dinosaurs' designs of that show match that sentiment right there. Like
absolutely. You can tell that like because it was same. What was it? Creatures Inc. that was working on because they did Walking with
yeah,
Dinosaurs on all that stuff. They did the Walking with series. You could tell that they really got to kind of cut loose a little bit more with the Primeval designs because they're just so much more like monstrous and edgy and
absolutely,
uh, kind of punk rock if we want to call it that. Not the Superman punk rock, the just actual fucking punk rock.
dude, for real.
Um,
Yeah, there. I
yeah,
think there was like just a trend going on in that era of the 2000s where a lot of the dinosaurs were coming out kind of punkish, like they were just. I mean, maybe for the time they weren't seen as. Maybe they truly thought the designs weren't ugly, but today we look back on it and we're like, man, these designs were pretty like abominable. These they were
yeah.
definitely like
Which which makes sense. Like I feel like half of Primeval was them running away from prehistoric creatures and future creatures, and a lot of them all look pretty monstrous. And I get it. It's like when your show is about characters running away from danger, you want whatever's chasing them to be fucking scary looking. So it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Um, yeah, for sure. But
mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
the bro they killed. They did kill Nigel Marven, and it was great. I forget because I feel like he got interviewed about that. I feel like Nigel got interviewed about that. I forget if he asked to do it, if it was his idea, or if it because no, I think it was Phil Tippett's idea. It was Mr. Walking with Dinosaurs' idea for him to do that.
That's not
Because he like
Phil
told him
Tippett
about it.
walking with dinosaur. You mean Tim Haynes?
Tim Henson. Hold on.
Phil Tippett is the stop motion animator. He did the effects for Star Wars, like the original movies. He was
What am I
Jurassic
talking
Park
about?
2. He was gonna do the stop motion
Oh
Jurassic Park
shit!
2
No,
movie.
I'm talking about complete wrong guy. Never
Tim
mind. Yeah,
Haynes, I think,
no.
is who you're talking
Tim
about.
Haynes. Yeah, I'm talking about Tim Haynes. I have no idea where I got
Listen,
Phil
guys,
Tippett from.
it's
I'm
late.
told.
Okay, we're both if it wasn't already obvious enough from our tones, we're both tired. Okay. I don't
Yeah.
want to hear any complaints from anybody. I will ban the fuck out of. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. You could complain. I just thought it'd be funny to mention it. I gotta defend my friend. Okay, God.
I mean, you don't have to defend me.
No, you're right. I don't. Never mind. Go ahead, guys. Make fun of him. I don't give a fuck. He directed the original Godzilla. Pretty cool. Yeah. Did you know? Yeah, Phil Tippett also did the original Lost World from 1925 too. It's pretty sick.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Tim Haynes was the one
Yeah.
that did the fuck. I was gonna make a joke. I fucking fucked that up. Never mind. Shut up. I'm tired. Yeah.
Yeah. Where did I get Phil Tippett from? I don't even watch Star Wars. I don't.
Jurassic Park. He did
Oh,
stuff for Jurassic Park.
Yeah, right. Oh no, you're probably right. That's where I remember his name from. It's either that or Prehistoric Beast, because didn't he
Yeah,
also do
Prehistoric
Prehistoric
Beast.
Beast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he did a little one which still don't think gets enough attention as much as it should. Dragon Slayer, 1981,
Yeah.
dark
Dragon
fantasy.
Slayer. Mm-hmm.
I actually, I mean, Dragon Slayer's not a great movie, but I do like it. I feel like, and just like atmosphere alone really scratches that itch.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Well, it really scratches the dark fantasy itch. I've talked to you about it before as well, but like Primal, to me at least, is like prehistoric dark fantasy. That's what it is, which I think is probably one of the coolest kind of subgenres of
I
anything I have ever
I
experienced.
love that label
Um,
because the
yeah,
caveman versus dinosaurs, just that motif, that was like that was like a popular thing, just back, just it was very pulp. It was very pulp science fiction. Back when they
yeah,
were, that was just a mainstay when it came to like the science fiction magazines back in from like the 1920s, 1930s. So like, and a lot of those, and a lot of dark fantasy books and short stories and any kind of literature. I mean, they include they include these reptilian monsters. They could be dinosaurs, they could be dragons, but they would oftentimes be fighting like a less advanced civilization, be it Neanderthals or cavemen or maybe a tribe that's not like at the primitive level as cavemen, but like maybe not as advanced
yeah,
as like modern tech. Like that was just something that you saw a lot back then. So it's like I do like that. I think the only thing that Primal is missing is literally just a dragon episode. But I don't think it
yeah.
doesn't need it. But like
Literally.
it would complete the picture so well if they just threw in a dragon.
Yeah, I can see it. I saw some fan art a while ago from, and by a while ago I mean like 2 years ago. This one, holy shit! I saw some like season two fan art that was released, which was like Primal. They had done like Primal season three, and it was like, it was Spear's daughter with the two Rex twins, and the backdrop looked like Egypt. It looked like something vaguely akin to Egypt, like desert with a Sphinx statue. But they did actually have a dragon flying overhead of them, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, I could like
Yeah,
again, if they want to do a season four, I'd be down to see just more. Give me some more classic prehistoric creatures, animals for our characters to tango with. But yeah, if you want to do dragons, I'm all for it. I feel like it. I just feel like the classical fantasy tropes of magic and mythological creatures, like just sprinkled in, not super heavily, but just kind of they're there every once in a while,
hmm
to kind of remind us that the world is fantastical.
yeah.
Um, like, yeah, I think that's really what makes Primal work, at least for me.
No, I agree.
So
I think
if they did that, I'd be super happy.
I think season three was like the closest to that with all the creatures they decided to introduce. A lot of the creatures seemed like something out of hell, like just the big death worms, the giant, the not the giant, but the little golem creatures, the fuck, not the golem creatures, but
Oh, the little blind
the
guys,
mole, yeah, the mole creatures is what I
the
meant to
mole,
say.
the
Yeah,
mole man, the
yeah.
mole dudes.
Not
Yeah,
to mention
yeah,
all of the strange like humanoid creatures that were introduced through the Colosseum, all the ogres and skinny little monsters, little critters that look like they could just come straight out of Smiling Friends and some shit like that. There were a lot of cool stuff there.
yeah.
Yeah,
And just make more 2D dragons or something I bloody require. Yeah, I feel that way too, Trick. And I know the sad reality is the fact that 2D animators don't want to animate fucking dragons because they're ridiculously hard to animate. So it's like, yeah, I understand the pain and the struggle because I feel like that's something that we all want, but sadly is just not something we get nowadays. Because even when it's a 2D animated show, I'm already thinking of like, I don't know, like Free Ren or Vox Machina, if people know that one. Like all the dragons just kind of end up being 3D models, wherein the human characters are all 2D, and it's like, yep, I completely understand why they do that because budget constraint, and also it's all due to the fact that the animators don't want to sleep under their desks for 6 months animating a single dragon.
that's true. Like
Um,
animators
yeah,
aren't in a lot of cases. Animators aren't given like they're given like shit working conditions. So it's
not
like
fairly compensated. Yeah,
yeah, it just yeah. I can understand why maybe that's not really something that an animator would want to go through. So um,
yeah,
yeah. See, Trike gets it. Trike draws them sometimes, but I mean, still, I don't. That's the thing about that's the other thing about Primal is that nothing is ever like as far as the animation goes, at least nothing is ever like they really take their time on it. Like they spend years in between each season to push it out. Like this show started, it's on its third. It's just finished its third season, but the show started all the way back in 2019. You know, it's been
Yeah.
7 years now. I mean, as we get farther into 2026, it'll be almost 7 years. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, 7 years, 3 seasons. Like in between those, at least a couple of years. Like they spend on obviously not just animating. You know, there's obviously a conceptualizing phase, but a lot of that time is spent on making sure on doing the animation. So it's not like it doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't look rushed. I'm sure that I would say that you know there's other studios that probably don't do that, but there's studios that don't do 2D animation at all. So it's like it's kind of hard to
Yeah.
find one that's to compare it to. But regardless, I like the animation of Primal. So
Yeah. It's got a good style. I love the heavy use of like the heavy line work is really strong. I feel for the characters. Like you got lots of like everyone's made up of really like grainy, heavy set lines and shapes and angular angular shapes especially. So which contrasts the world really well. Like everything kind of looks sharp and dangerous, and that works for Primal especially
mm-hmm.
like a lot because yeah, it's a probably one of the most dangerous fictional worlds out
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah. Um,
As far as like Primal being considered paleo media, I think it's like what you said earlier. Primal's a pretty malleable show. There's a lot of things that they can do with it. I don't know. I don't think it's. I mean, to some extent, I get what this person is saying because it's a comment. They were saying like, "Are we sure Primal is considered paleo media, considering it has zombies and demon?" I don't think that's like. I don't think it having something that's so far from dinosaurs, next to dinosaurs, is what determines whether something is paleo media or not. Um,
yeah.
but I get what they mean. Like the focus is very much on zombies and demons and all these things that aren't dinosaurs. So to some extent, I do
Yeah.
get what they're saying. It probably would not necessarily be considered paleo media by like the average person, but when you take consideration the fact that the show is still not only features Fang, but is like it's heavily focusing on a lot of what's happening from her perspective. I think to some extent there is some, at the very least, some level of paleo media, like to consider it paleo media. I think there is some level of it there. But the way I see it, it's not really that much different from a lot of the pulp, like pseudo paleo media, for the lack of a better term, that you would get like back in, you know, the early 1900s of like paleo media literature. Like you get a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that kind
Yeah.
of blurs the line between like, okay, well, is it actually a dinosaur story or is it, not really a dinosaur? Is it more of a fantasy? Does it focus on, just, I think it's also just a thing where you kind of have to determine it yourself. Because some people, if it features a dinosaur in it, to some people that's enough, you know.
Yeah.
I it,
Sure.
for me it just kind of depends. It's really situational. For Primal, I'm okay kind of keeping it there because it started off very much focused on prehistoric life, but it very much wants to push the boundaries of that. And I don't fault it for wanting to do that. I think it's actually kind of cool that they're doing a lot more world building and focusing less on
Mhm.
the prehistoric. But dinosaurs aren't the only thing that make it paleo media, like that makes it a paleo media show. Like, there's still the inclusion of the pterosaur. There's the entelodonts. There's still some stuff there. Um, I do, after seeing the pterosaur, it did make me wish that Tartakovsky did more dinosaur stuff with Primal, because
I wish Beak, if we're calling him that, I wish Beak became a party member.
I
I would have.
I do too.
I wish we could have just like seen them, maybe just like in that second to last scene where everyone's kind of sleeping together
Yeah.
in peace. That maybe there's just parked outside, because I liked that Spirit had another companion, if we're even gonna call him that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I the, it made me want, because we're used to seeing Fang, but seeing a different prehistoric animal, like having that much focus on it that wasn't Fang, it was so cool. Plus, the pterosaur is just beautifully designed.
yeah.
It's a beautiful pterosaur. It makes me
It's nearly identical to the one we see in the first. I think it's a little bit different looking, but it is really close to the first one we see in the first season episode, where like it shows up
right,
for like 5 seconds, where
right,
Spear
yeah,
hides from it.
exactly.
But I was like, when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, they brought back the, I forget if it's like, I don't know, it could be like a Quetzal or a Hatzegopteryx or
Yeah, it
whatever,
could be a
but
number. It
I was
could
like,
be any
yeah,
of those things. Um, it reminds me that Gendy is so good at just making dinosaurs, at making prehistoric creatures.
yeah,
Like he does so well with not just animating them, but designing them, like their colors, their overall look, their structure. I like it. I think he does a good job with them. I wish he did more with that. But again, I think it's just he wants to expand more beyond just that. And I think Primal is kind of a canvas that is not as strict and not as limiting as other shows and their continuities go. So I think
yeah.
that's why he likes to really push the boundaries with Primal. But yeah, remember that when discussing the, I don't know any of that. I'm fucking I am too tired to even mispronounce that word. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have anything else to add. I think I've pretty much said the bulk of what I wanted to say about Primal season 3. I'm sure there's other stuff. I attempted to take notes, but I gave up on trying to do that, because I got too busy and I felt too tired. But I think I've said everything I've kind of wanted to say about the show. What about you, Pish? You got anything left to say?
Yeah, I think we mostly talked about everything, so I think I'm out of a lot of stuff to say. I was gonna talk about quickly how discussing if Primal is considered paleo media. I mean, of course it is, because it's got dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures in it. I think that's just a given. But I like I really think this was a contributing factor for my enjoyment of Primal, and my continued enjoyment of it was the freedom behind it. The fact that it is more of its like the fact that it's more of a fantasy styled show
Mm-hmm.
really helps it in the paleo media department, because the team, because I know not just Gendy goes into it when we're talking about the creature design. Like a lot of them are being designed by the animators and the talented designers who work at the. I'm forgetting this animation studio name. I'm forgetting it. Forgive me, but I believe they're in France. They're French. They're a French animated studio. Um, a really talented team of people, and I know a lot of them are probably contributing a lot of those character designs for the creatures. So good on them, because so many of them look so cool. And I feel like part of the draw to Primal for me is just the freedom that this is a prehistoric world where all of these prehistoric creatures are kind of a part of it and are coexisting, and it works, and we don't have to worry. Like my brain doesn't have to worry about being confused when we see a T-Rex and a caveman and a saber-toothed cat all living in the same world. It's like it just works because it's its own thing. It's a again, it's prehistoric dark fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that. I know some people personally, because this is the dinosaur community, and so obviously it's always going to be a thing, are personally annoyed when we see creatures that did not live in the same time period coexisting, which I think is just it's so old, dude. Like it's such a 12-year-old mindset. Like, please,
It's
people,
a trope that
get
they've been
over the
using
shit.
forever. It's less that they're trying to,
Um,
because like
yeah,
I think my issue is like when they see that right? Is like they automatically think like, oh, it's disrespectful to the knowledge that we have now. I think it's less that it's
Yeah.
being disrespectful to the knowledge that we have now, and more paying homage to the old tropes introduced in previous works that were so
Yeah.
that not only popularized paleo media but popularized like the film industry. Like that was such a big thing for the Lost World, was that the dinosaurs from different time periods coexisted in the same era as each other. That started uh, that started this big trope that it was used in a lot of dinosaur films, but like that movie was so revolutionary for its time that it was something to pay homage to. It was something to show respect to that film for doing that. So I mean, that's my interpretation on it. Anyway, uh, you know, there are some people out there definitely that do not care for accuracy and are probably. I mean, I don't think there's ever been an indication that there are people that the creators of Paleo Media are aiming specifically towards the nerds to make them angry by and purposely putting scientific, inaccurate stuff in there. I think it's more so that they just from the start that was never the intention.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, so I'm just glad that Primal like really scratches that itch. Again, I would love more prehistoric dark fantasy media. Like I really like the idea of a world where a bunch of prehistoric animals coexist. Because it going back to what you said about pulp, it reminding you us of pulpy media. It does remind me of really old dinosaur media, like the original 1925 Lost World, and even older, like the novelization, right? Which is even older than the movie. Like it's just something that you don't see a lot nowadays. Like I feel like so many modern dinosaur stories need to be science fiction related, and they have to explain like the resurrection of the creatures, or like a time machine element or something like that. But back in the day, you had the kind of fantastical explorer myths of
Yeah,
dinosaurs still existing somewhere in some far off corner of the world, or existing in caves, like Journey to the Center of the Earth or something like
yeah.
that. And
The Land That
like
Time
it's
Forgot,
just so,
that's a big one too.
yeah,
Tarzan,
Land of Time Forgot.
Tarzan.
Yeah, it just feels so charming. It feels really, really charming and old school and cool. And I feel like Primal falls under that category. Like I feel like because it just works. Like it feels really good. Um, and I'm glad that it scratches that itch for me.
No, definitely. I like that too. I do like the fantastical direction it takes. I would like to see more of that in like more popular, like not pop. Well, yeah, popular mediums. I guess more popular than TV shows, which would be movies. So like as mainstream as you can get. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of why I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but there's like this new dinosaur movie that's been like announced that's coming out, and it sounds more whimsical than some of the other dinosaur movies that have come out recently. It's that that
Mm.
it was called Flowervale Street. It was that one with what was her name? Anne Hathaway. Is that the one? It was like the longest time it was like the unnamed like Anne Hathaway movie or with dinosaurs or something. I think I think we covered it back when we did Luminova. Remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's
um,
forever ago.
yeah. They apparently the Flowervale Street was just a placeholder name. The actual name is the end of Oak Street, and based on like just what some people have said, I don't take I've been taking these words for with a grain of salt because I don't know if like it's actually true. There hasn't been any footage released yet of the movie. Uh, it definitely sounds like it's gonna be more like fantastical than some of, and not like not at all in the same style that Primal is. More like fantastical, more like in the whimsical sense, where it's more like, you know, not everything is gonna maybe. It doesn't sound like everything might be explained, but you know, uh,
Yeah.
kind of along the same lines as that. and it sounds interesting, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong in that assumption. Maybe I misread what everybody has been saying about it. Granted, there hasn't been a whole lot because there's only been a few people that saw test screenings, so maybe how they've worded it, I completely misinterpreted. So maybe it is just another boring dinosaur movie akin to something like 65. Hopefully not. But I'm interested. It's got my attention. So I definitely, apparently the trailer for it is supposed to come out next week. I don't know how true that is, but I'm keeping an eye out for that because that sounds
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
All right. I will keep my eye out for that as well, I guess.
Fucking better, okay? All
Yeah.
right, because
Okay. Okay.
I am expecting you back here next week to talk about this shit, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'll have my report ready.
I'm gonna berate you in front of these
Yeah.
people if I have to, okay?
I'll have the fine print ready. I'll do my notes. I know it will be on the quiz, so I'll get it all ready.
Kidding, I'm not gonna.
Honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't have faith in Hollywood when it comes to dinosaurs.
No, I mean I don't blame you. I don't blame anybody. Like
yeah.
it's a very mixed bag with how they approach dinosaur films. So like I totally get anybody that is like going into this with low expectations. I still am trying to keep the expectations low because I mean I don't know. I don't know if if history has taught us anything, the only thing they got right aside from the obvious Jurassic Park is I don't know, maybe King Kong. That's Godzilla. The main ones. Some Lost World movies. No, that's not just the first one. I would say. Everything else they've pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally. Anyway, we will see.
Yeah. All right. You're sounding pretty tired. And I'm also really tired. I think
I was about to say you're sounding pretty tired. You're 2 hours ahead of me as it is. So.
Listen here, you son of a bitch. Okay, don't you dare talk down to me in front of my audience like that. Okay, don't you do
Oh, I'm sorry.
I swear to God.
I didn't know I was gonna hurt your feelings.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Shit, no,
okay.
I'm totally kidding. I don't know why I keep going after you like that.
I was being sarcastic, by the way, but I love how you could. Could you tell?
Get it. It's
okay,
so
cool,
funny.
cool.
Your reactions are so funny when I do stuff like that. So I just like, I don't know. I do it because you give off the funniest interaction with it. So I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep berating you. So
yeah, I say as we close, I was just gonna say overall, I enjoyed the season. I enjoyed it more than season 2.
Yeah,
I am happy that we got to go back to the world. I was happy with the elements that were introduced in the story. Of course, were there some things that could be better? Of course, there are some things that can be better.
So actually, that's the thing. It's so easy to compare this to season 2, but I think the real challenge is like, how does it stand up to season 1? Because like to me, I think season 1 is perfect. I don't think that doesn't make season 3 bad. But I would say if we're gonna like rank them per season, it's like for me it would be season 1, season 2,
easy. No,
season
1, season 1, season 3, season 2. Yeah, pretty much. Like I do think I remember talking to you again about how one of the reasons why I enjoyed season 3 more than season 2 is it vaguely felt more like season 1, and I feel like that is strictly because a lot of the concepts, or no, not the concepts. What's the word? Like the episodes were just kind of structured in a similar way, especially the first couple episodes where we see like new threats being introduced each episode. We get like we saw a lot of shit in season 3. We saw fucking hell. We saw what were they called? Bohemian lions? Whatever those lions are that are now extinct. We saw human lions. We saw skull ape men. We saw mole men. We saw giant worms. We saw man-eating baboons. We saw entelodons and an alpha albino entelodon mother who was horrifying. Honestly, that was so gross.
Felt filled with all those kinds of creatures, the same as season 1.
Yeah, it was similar structure to season 1, where every episode kind of had its own corresponding threat. And it was less focused on separate human civilizations that all kind of stole a lot of the spotlight from season 2, which wasn't a bad thing. I understand why they went in that direction, trying to show, season 2 definitely had this whole new world thing going on where Spears coming from his prehistoric world that he's used to coming into a more modern world. But I feel like they really kind of went more back in terms of focus for the more of the prehistoric world
Mm-hmm.
for season three, showing those elements more, which personally I loved because that's one of the reasons why I love season one so much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah. No, that's. I think that's a good breakdown right there. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I guess that's the last of our thoughts on Primal. Um, yeah, I don't know what the future of Primal is looking like, but again, like we discussed earlier, at least for me, I would not be opposed to the idea of a continuation, but I'm also happy with how they ended it. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I like the season overall. I think is just bottom line. It took 2 hours to say that, but you know what? Fuck it. 2 hours. If that's what it took, then yeah. And you
yeah,
guys watch it for the people that decided to stay. That's that's what you had to go through. So, congratulations, you did it. All right. I will ban
yep.
anybody that complains. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna do that. I'm too lazy to do that. Um,
Yeah, because then you have to scroll through everyone's
yeah,
usernames and
exactly.
be
I'm
like,
not gonna fucking do that.
uh,
It's just way too much work.
real.
Anyways, but yeah, thanks, Pish, for joining me on this. Uh, this was pretty good, I guess. I mean, it's not the best thing I've ever done, but it's all right. It's okay. It was chill.
Yeah, it's because
It
I'm
was
here.
kind of the vibe. Well, yeah,
Yeah, it's because I'm here. I automatically midify everything I am a part of.
well, that's kind of you just kind of have that.
Midification, if you will.
Yeah, you just kind of have that voice, where it's just like, it's the monotone really helps the atmosphere of the stream by also making it monotone. It's infectious.
Wow. Yippee yahoo! Am I right? Yeah, real. Yeah, but no, thanks for having me on, dude.
Of course,
I,
yeah.
you know me, I was always gonna come back for Primal, dude. It's Primal. I gotta come
Yeah,
back.
that's true. That's true. We had to at least come back for this. Um, yeah, I don't. People don't get your hopes up for Primal season 3 Iceberg. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I don't. There's so much down the pipeline as far as content goes that I have planned, and I have very little time to even get to the smaller stuff. So I can't even begin to think about something like a Primal season 3 Iceberg. So uh, I appreciate that there's some people that like the idea, but don't get your hopes up. That's all I gotta say. So, uh, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope y'all enjoyed that. And again, Fish, thanks for joining me.
No problem, bum.
All right, y'all have a good night. I'm gonna end the stream now because I'm tired. I'm going to sleep. All right, good
Me
night,
too.
everybody.
I'm eating.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.
Bye.